like, oh, is this the quarterly distribution? And I'm like, no, it's the monthly distribution.
It turns out this property makes money every month.
Yeah. And so they were surprised. They were like, wow, that's like, this property is actually performing how it should, how we modeled it when we bought it, how we thought it would do. But because it had poor management and cheap management, it just wasn't doing that.
Welcome to the Mountain West podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. Today we have a really cool guest and someone I've been trying to get onto the pod for a couple of months. He's been so busy, he hasn't had any time for us. But I give you Jesse Smith, president of Asset Management Services, or what normal people call property management. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for carving out just a little bit of time running between properties to hang out with us.
Absolutely.
So I got a bunch of questions for you. This is going to be fun, but
okay.
Why don't we start with you giving us a little bit of background on how in the world you got to this place?
Yeah, happy to. A lot of people do end up in property management just by happenstance. I am probably rare in the sense that I actually went to college for this. So graduated with a degree in facility and property management from BYU.
Wow. Okay.
And then jumped right in working at NAI West in 2012. Took an assistant PM job there out of college.
That was a crazy time at NAI West, because at that time, NAI West, if I remember, was like the number one largest brokerage, if not the number one, number two, whatever. They were a huge brokerage at the time, and property manager. Huge
brokerage, huge property management. It was a great place to launch my career because I met a ton of brokers, including you and all the Mountain West team that was kind of sister companies there.
Yeah. Was this with Yvonne? Was she running?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. So that was a great place to start my career, kind of cut my teeth. After about 18 months, I went to Hines, the developer out of Houston.
Yeah.
They owned several office buildings here in the market, and continued learning the PM business. Managed the Kearns Building, Gateway, Office Towers, Cottonwood Corporate Center. So had a really good experience there, learning kind of how an institutional owner runs their PM.
So like back at BYU, what made you think of property management? Like people ask me sometimes, well, how the heck did you get in commercial real estate? Almost like, why are you in commercial real estate?
Yeah, for sure. No,
but for me, it was like my whole family's been in commercial real estate for generations. And so it just was like almost like a foregone conclusion. But I'm curious, what was the impetus for that?
Yeah, I think growing up, my dad was a school teacher. So I grew up kind of in a really small town up in Washington, and with, a great upbringing and family, but kind of wanted to do something a little more, I guess, entrepreneurial, business. And so as I looked at different career paths and majors in my undergrad, I think facility and property management stuck out because I really liked the tangible nature of, the business, right? Buildings, properties, you can see them, you can touch them, you can feel them. They exist. And I also felt like every single building in the world needs to be managed by somebody. And so it felt like a secure kind of route to go down. And so, out of all the majors, I kind of landed on that one, took an intro class and just kind of fell in love with it and ran with it.
It's interesting because if for the people that are listening who don't have a great grasp on commercial real estate, you look out at a shopping center or an office building or an industrial building or anything commercial real estate, that asset is a $5 million building, a $100 million building. Every single one of those has a property manager assigned to it that manages it every single day.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that who aren't familiar with commercial real estate.
Yeah. Somebody has to collect the rent. Somebody has to pay the bills, the vendors that take care of the snow removal, the landscaping, the maintenance. Somebody's got to be there to take a call from a tenant if they've got a roof leak. So every single property, every single building, somebody's got to be taking care of it.
What kind of personality type do you think either wants to be a property manager or is a property manager? Like, what's that personality type? I can tell you what it is for a broker. It's like a crazy, wild human being.
I think property management, there's a few things that I think make a good property manager. I think being organized is one of them.
Yeah.
Because you've got a lot of different balls to kind of keep in the air at any given point. I think being willing to kind of get out from behind your desk is important. Because you've got to be on site at your properties. You're interacting with clients, you're interacting with tenants, you're
Problem
interacting
solving
with vendors.
every day.
Yeah, you're taking a look at an issue at a property, trying to, problem solve is probably another one. So I think, and I think you've got to be a people person, because you do have to interact with people. I remember my first kind of assistant PM job, like picking up the phone and like calling a random person, and how that was kind of weird for me, right? As a just kid coming out of college, but you get super used to it, and now it's like second nature. But so yeah, people person, organized, get out from behind the desk, problem solve.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I think a lot of people don't know is you're not behind your desk. I mean, you are at some point during the week, but you are out looking at properties, solving things on site every single day, moving around. Every day you wake up, it's a different day, different problems, different whatever.
I love that about the industry and the career is every single day is different. There are some cyclical things that happen every month or every year, but every single day is something new.
Huh. Okay. I interrupted your story. You're at Hines.
Yeah. So after Hines, I did a master's degree up at the U, and then kind of from there left and joined a kind of boutique property management company, and spent about 8 years there building kind of from the ground up, and had all different product types: retail, office, industrial, and building a team as well, property managers, accountants. And then left there a couple years ago.
We are going to talk about the fact that you went to BYU and Utah, right?
Sure.
And it just feels like the elephant in the room.
I followed in my grandpa's footsteps. He did the same thing. He did a undergrad at BYU, master's degree at the U. And then actually one of the gifts that he gave me before he passed away was these banana chairs, a cougar blue banana chair with a big Y on it, and then a bright red Utah chair with a U on it.
That's
so
awesome.
Those are both in my basement. We hop in there when we, grind
it.
on Madden or
You're torn. You're
hang
both
out.
way. You're both.
Yeah, I bleed blue for sure. So go Cougars.
So I think where you and I intersected is we started Mountain West in 2009 as a brokerage, and I always wanted to figure out how to do property management. But property management is really, at least from my perspective, very complicated. And I didn't have the expertise there. And so I always wanted to find a partner, someone who we thought was a great partner, who we could partner with, who could build property management with us. There's so much synergy between brokerage and property management and vice versa. They're very synergistic, and obviously it's a great thing for brokers to have for clients because we want to service our clients. We want our clients to have the best of everything. And we bounced around trying to figure out property management for 10 plus years, maybe 13, 14 years. And I caught wind that you were making a transition and you were looking to, do something different and build your next company. And I kind of lost my like I was so excited. I think I called you directly.
Yeah.
And you were like, who in the world is this guy? And I was like, we got to go to lunch. And you were like, who is this weirdo?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, it was you, it was Nick. And yeah, it was, I remember that day like it was yesterday, it feels like, to sit down and just talk through kind of, the vision and what you guys wanted to build at Newmark Mountain West on the PM side, and to to see if that aligned with kind of my future and where I was going. So I remember like it was yesterday. It was an awesome lunch, and it was kind of the start of a really cool thing.
Yeah, I just felt like, again, it was a partner thing for us. We wanted to have the right partner who was a long-term partner who was incredible at property management. And we felt like we spend so much time helping our clients, and that means everything to us. And then one of the hardest things to do as a broker in sales is you turn this client over to another line of business.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't work out. And that's a poor reflection on you as the broker, or you could say the same thing as a property manager turning it over to a broker, right?
Yeah.
And so to have that partner who is so awesome and so great at property management, I mean, I was super pumped. So
Well, thank you.
took a minute to actually make the deal, but
yeah, those are kind words. I really appreciate it. I appreciate both you and Nick just having that faith, that confidence, and just for the opportunity, right, to build this, because I think it's something that, like you said, for 10 plus years didn't really exist at the company. And so to be able to launch that business line, to start something from scratch again, which did feel a little crazy to start from scratch again, but at the same time, I enjoy that. I like the process. I like the challenge, I guess, of building something from the ground up. And so to be able to do that with partners as great as you guys, with brokers like we have at Newmark Mountain West, with the support staff, the resources, it was truly a no-brainer to partner with you guys.
yeah, we were reviewing numbers this morning, just unrelated to this podcast, you and I were, and a couple things stuck out to me. But one, in year one of operation, you received 55 referrals from the brokerage.
Yeah.
So like the pent up demand for a great property manager in-house was so big.
Yeah.
And I think last year you got another 45 or 50 referrals. Yeah. So like talk a little bit about what it's like to be really a startup, but just have that like rocket ship growth that you've had. I mean, you've gone, I can't remember the exact number, but it's 100% growth or more than that. I'm sure I'm doing it a disservice, but it's a huge amount of growth that you're seeing.
Yeah.
Right
we've added basically 2 properties a month since inception, which was about 2 years ago. So yeah, up to 50 properties, which is truly insane, right? I think, if I were to try to do it by myself without this partnership, without the brokerage kind of community behind me, it would have been half as fast, if not even slower, right? Mm-hmm. So to have that pipeline, it's essentially like, I feel like I have, 150 salespeople that are out there in the market. They know what's going on. They know the transactions that are happening. They know the clients.
And they have confidence in you as a property manager, turning their clients over to you.
Yeah. And I think, and I'm obviously grateful for that and appreciate their support and kind of respect that way. And that has come over time, I think, with just knowing these guys and gals for, 10 plus years, but also just trying to create, incentives and motivate them to really think of me first when an assignment comes up that they could refer. So it's been incredible to kind of see those referrals come in and then be able to go out and try to close those deals and then to deliver and take care of the client and the properties.
Obviously that incredible growth is great and everybody's excited about it, but what are some of the challenges as like a startup business owner, founder? Like what are challenges with that level of growth?
I think one of the challenges is just when you're going that fast, having the right people in place to kind of support the growth. And luckily, thanks to kind of longstanding relationships, both my own and of kind of the Newmark Mountain West community, we've got a team and staff that are able to support us in that in a way that is scalable and sustainable and doesn't necessarily kind of overburden us right out the gates. And then I think just keeping the momentum going, right? Always hungry, always kind of searching for the next deal, keeping the pipeline full. It's great to go out and land deals and, win deals, but then where's the next one coming from, right? It's kind of the same as the broker mindset of just, staying hungry and like continuing to search and keep your pipeline full so that you can have a constant stream of kind of new business coming in, but then on the back end, be able to support those properties and actually deliver a product.
Yeah. And you've got an incredible team behind you.
Yeah.
It's really, obviously you're great, but the team behind you is really big, which makes perfect sense. Like you gotta build out that team. If you have a weak team behind you, you can be the greatest salesman up front and have every cool attribute, but it just crumbles.
Yeah.
When you start to scale like that, right?
Yeah.
All the weaknesses start to come out.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I'm not a great salesman either. I just kind of say it how it is. And if they like it, great. And if they don't, I don't think I try to convince anyone.
Do you think PM people are salespeople?
No.
Why is that?
I mean, if they were salespeople, they'd probably be brokers.
But they'd have to be crazy to be brokers.
I think it's a different personality type, right? I think it's a little more, I know for me personally, I'm a little more, I guess, I like to control things a little bit more. And I feel like on the brokerage side, you're open to so many variables, right? Deals falling apart outside of your control. Whereas with property management, I feel like I can kind of control the variables. It's a lot of it's a risk management game, right?
Yeah.
And protecting your properties, protecting your clients. And so making sure you have the systems in place, the vendors in place, the processes in place, that kind of helps me sleep well at night, knowing that everything is kind of locked in, as opposed to wondering, is this deal going to blow up tomorrow type thing.
What was a setback you can think of, like in the last couple of years, building this company, where you were like, man, I wish we could have done that better, or something you learned from that you like lost an account on or lost a pitch on or something like that?
Yeah. I had a couple setbacks. Last year definitely had a little bit of a rough patch, had a couple really big accounts come through as pitch opportunities, which was great. The fact that we were in front of these kind of big name clients and had opportunities to pitch on these big properties and portfolios. And kind of had two in a row that I lost, both of them. And it's kind of hard to take, it's hard to lose a big deal, right? Especially when you feel like, this is the one that would, really cement me or put me on the map, or it's almost external validation, right? that I'm good, that I'm doing a good job, that I'm succeeding. And so to lose those, not get those, was tough. But I think it also was a good test for just resiliency, grit, like being able to just kind of show up the next day, realize that, hey, the world didn't end, like life goes on.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that for me is like having supportive partners, right? That aren't beating me up over it and are just, kind of give me that confidence of like, hey, no, like it's okay. Like we'll get the next one. And then also, just knowing that like, yeah, there's another property will come. And that ended up kind of happening. Like
Yeah.
lost a couple big ones.
Now you got
and then
a
had
couple
another
of-
big one come through and landed it. So
Yeah. I think that was an interesting period of time. I mean, in some ways, I think it humbled us because we were just blowing and going and picking up properties, and like it was a rocket ship, still is. But those couple of setbacks, I think, taught us all the things you just said. And then this year, or the end of last year, we picked up a bunch of really huge ones. We're going to pick up a couple more that we're going to announce here. And so I think in a lot of ways it kind of humbled us and reset it. And it was like, okay, there's a couple of things I need to learn on pitches. We need to pick up some more velocity as far as clients. And anyway, I feel like it actually made us better.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope so for sure. And yeah, that's going to happen again, right? Like there's wins, there's losses.
No, we're not going to lose again. We will never lose again.
It's just part of life, but like being able to bounce back right after, I think that's huge.
Yeah. So this is something that's kind of interesting to me. There are good property managers and there are bad or poor property managers. How does being a good manager or bad affect the viability, the success of a property, which we would define as NOI, net operating income, like how much money the property's making?
Yeah.
In your career, what do you see there as like a good property manager? What kind of value do they drive to an owner, to an asset?
Yeah. I actually just had a conversation with one of our clients this morning about that. He previously had his property at a different shop, was being managed by someone. And they struggled. They, I think, the number he threw out that they kind of figure they lost on NOI was $100,000. And they went with that manager because they were cheap. They were a lower kind of priced fee. And so they thought, hey, great, nice low fee. We'll save some money. And at the end of the day, ended up losing $100,000 on their investment because of that. They switched to us at a much higher fee, double the fee that they were paying their previous manager. But we started sending out their distributions monthly, and they got their first one, and they're like, "Oh, is this the quarterly distribution?" And I'm like, no, it's the monthly distribution.
It turns out this property makes money every month.
Yeah. And so they were surprised. They were like, wow, that's like, this property is actually performing how it should, how we modeled it when we bought it, how we thought it would do. But because it had poor management and cheap management, it just wasn't doing that. So
you think it feels like accounting is a huge part of property management, and accounting scares a lot of people, including me. And so it just feels like you're obviously super competent on that. Just speak to that a little bit about how difficult it is to set up accounting, back of office, and all of the measures that you have to go through as far as that's concerned. Yeah.
I think the accounting side of it is big. I think for me personally, how I kind of view the accounting function is really two components. One is the software. And I try to set up a completely paperless setup and a completely cloud-based setup using kind of software that is very, top of industry basically. So we use two programs. One is Yardi, one is Avid Exchange. Those are the softwares that we use for everything related to our accounting. And that allows all of our tenants to pay rent electronically online or through a lockbox. It allows our bills to be paid via e-check or via a debit card or credit card. And so everything kind of removes the paperless aspect of it, which I think streamlines a lot of things and also just kind of provides some protections because, we're not necessarily cutting checks and kind of there's some safety there. For our clients. And then just working with the client on however they want their accounting set up, right? With their banking, if they want to do a bank account, if they want us to do a bank account. And then the other big aspect is our team, right? Our controller, our manager, accounting manager, AP, property accountants, right? That's everything. Because
you still have people that want like a hard check, like every single month I want an actual check mailed to me.
For vendors?
Not like for a landlord, for an owner.
For distributions?
Yeah.
Not a ton.
Seems less common.
Most of our distributions are ACH.
I had this guy early on in my career who owned a bunch of properties, and he would collect, like the mail would come every day, and he would open mail. He'd be like, "Oh, another $2,500 or 25, whatever it was," and he would put them in a bin in his office, and he would always tell people, "When it gets to $25,000, then it's worth my time going to the bank to cash everything else."
Nice.
This is like so funny.
Yeah. No, we try to avoid going to the bank if possible. So,
Had no choice back then. You had to go to the bank.
yeah, right.
So what other technology you see there in property management? Or where do you see AI intrusion or AI assistance in some of the things you're doing?
Yeah, so a lot of the softwares are building in AI kind of capabilities. Big one is on the accounts payable side. So our invoices come in from all of our vendors, and the software uses AI to kind of read those invoices and pre-populate a lot of the sections in the approval process for these payables. We still have human eyes on everything. Everything's approved by multiple humans, but AI helps there. We also have a software for tracking insurance certificates for our tenants and our owners and our vendors. And I know they have AI as well that helps to just kind of extract data from certificates, populate forms, keep kind of, a lot of it's just the data entry side of it, I guess, right now. I think.
So AI is not replacing you?
I don't think so. Hopefully not yet.
I was getting a haircut the other day, and my barber was talking about this. He's been my barber for like 15 years. And I was like, dude, you have the greatest job ever. All these guys come in here talking about AI this, AI that. He doesn't think one thing about it.
Yep.
He just keeps on cutting hair.
Yeah.
He never has to worry about it.
Yeah.
And I think in some ways, all the things you're mentioning about AI are obviously additive to what you're doing. But you, as the property manager, that face-to-face and that problem solving every single day, I think is really hard, if not impossible, to replicate.
Yeah.
So
yeah. AI can't go to properties. It can't look at, roof leaks or parking lot potholes and it can't interface with people. It can't, there are AI that can talk on the phone now, but
I can't wait to
those
see
are kind of
that.
creepy.
The robot out for a property visit.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. So do you have any examples of properties that you've taken on or in the past that you've taken on that like a huge success story, or the opposite, like a huge disaster or funny story or anything like that?
The funny story that comes to mind, there's lots. Every day there's something different in property management, honestly. But one funny story that comes to mind is we had an insurance inspection we were doing at a kind of a large shopping center, and we were checking out a nail salon that was there, and we were like, hey, they need to see every square inch of this space. Like, we got to go in the back. And so open up the back door, and there's a bed, there's a microwave, there's a bunch of food.
People are living in the back of the space.
So I think it was just the owner, right, of the business, just kind of hustling like, hey, mortgage and rent. Yeah, just combine it all into one. And so that one was entertaining. There was another center we managed that had a grocer in it that bailed, kind of went belly up. And they had, it was like a fish market. They had all kinds of crazy stuff in there.
I love fish markets in Utah.
And they left, but everything was still there. So we go in to inspect it maybe a week or so after they had bailed. And the place smelled disgusting.
Like there was actual fish
left
everything,
in there? Yeah, everything fish in there. The freezer was like left open, was leaking everywhere. Like it was a nightmare. So
again, AI is probably not going to replace that.
Yeah.
Guy walking in and smelling that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's always something new in property management. Always something. Every day there's something new. There's another center we had where there was in the alley behind the center, a lady would put out like 20 plus dishes for cats and fill them up with food.
Nice.
and feed the cats
Why
in the
wouldn't you?
alley. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So had a little cat sanctuary behind our property.
So you're on this rocket ship of growth, growing at whatever, infinite 200, 300% a year. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see this going in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Obviously maintaining the same infinite growth.
Always. No, I think we are going to continue growing. I mean, where property management really picks up steam is when markets are hot, when buildings are selling, transacting. That's a lot of times when property management can pick up new assignments because that's when.
Yeah, because basically one guy is selling, and because property management is really, really difficult to set up and integrate. And as an owner, once you have that property manager who's really like on the inside with you, they understand the property, they know everything about it, they do all your accounting. It's really painful to switch.
Yeah.
And you almost never switch unless you sell the property or something horrible happens with your property manager.
Yeah, exactly. That's spot on. So for us, that's really when we can land new deals, is when the building's selling, we can come in, work with the new buyer and pick up the assignment with them. So the market has been down for the last couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not as many buildings changing hands. Interest rates are high. It's, you know more about that than I do, but it's so in that environment, it's harder to pick up new stuff. So
we started property management basically at the lowest point for investment sales in 5 or 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
We have a great knack of starting companies at the absolute bottom of the trough,
Yeah.
which is I actually love it.
Yeah.
Like we started Mountain West, the company, in 2009
Right.
at the absolute bottom of the trough.
yeah.
And everyone thought we were nuts. And I think we might've been a little nuts.
My career started 2012, which was kind of, on the upswing side of it, but still got to see a lot of kind of the GFC effects and kind of what was happening to the real estate market.
So if you're having this level of success right now, your feeling is once transactions return in a huge way, and they will in some measurable way, whether interest rates come down or whatever happens, you're just going to see even more success.
Yeah, I think it'll keep the pipeline will continue to flow, and we'll get more referrals and more opportunities, and hopefully land, as many of those as we can.
What do you wake up in 5 years, like what defines success for you?
I think for me, success, number one, is about being a good person. So I think if in 5 years I can say that I'm an honest person, if I can say that I'm a kind person, if I can say that my family loves me and I love them, if I can say that my partners and my colleagues at work enjoy working with me and respect me and feel like I respect them, and my clients feel like I take care of them and they get what they pay for and more by working with me, I think I will feel successul.
Okay, that was actually a really good answer. I was thinking you were going to say make a bunch of money. So that was much better than what I was expecting. So last couple of things for people that are listening out there that have a property, it's being managed by someone else. They're wondering, should I switch or should I not? What would you say to that person? Why should they choose you and what we're doing here over their current property manager or someone else that they might be considering?
Yeah. I think if they choose us, you're going to get someone, I think, that feels more like a partner than necessarily just you're a client of somebody. I think the clients that I work with feel like I'm invested in them. I'm invested in their properties, that our team truly cares about their success. And so I think if you want a partnership, if you want someone who truly cares and takes a fiduciary interest in your property, I think that could be a reason to have a conversation with me to look at switching.
I love that. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, if you want a partner, then you're the guy.
Yeah.
That's really the best way to say that.
A relationship.
I would have actually said that in referring someone to you. So that's awesome. Well, as we wrap this thing up, we always like to do market trends.
Okay.
And so for this one, I thought something really interesting that's happening or has been happening. Triple nets
Yeah.
in this market, in surrounding markets, have been inflating at an astronomical rate the last, call it 10 years, but for sure the last 5 years.
Yep.
I mean, when you started in 2012, what was a typical triple net? And triple nets basically mean taxes, insurance, and common area maintenance. So pretty much all of the expenses that go into a property. And you usually define that by a per square foot number. So if a random shopping center has $500,000 of all of those expenses, you back it out into the square footage of the shopping center. Expenses divided by square footage equals,
Yeah.
in 2012, it used to be,
Yeah. Probably, I mean, honestly, $3 to $4 a foot.
yeah, $3 like back in the day.
Yeah.
You said $3, like, yeah, okay. You said $4, they were like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. 3 to 4. I mean, that was pretty common. And yeah, definitely since then, I mean, it's been, close to 15 years, but we have centers as high as like 10 to $11 a foot now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think as far as trends go, I mean, I think we can all agree everything costs more now in 2026 than it did in 2012. So there's pressures, inflationary pressures. I mean, I remember a time, I think it was kind of right after COVID when we got hit with a bunch of letters from vendors saying, hey, we're adding this charge, we're increasing our services by this percentage, because costs were just skyrocketing. Salaries were going up for, employees, and then just costs of goods. I mean, I remember a time when gas, and diesel prices were high. That gave all the trash haulers and the landscapers, opportunity to increase their
So you feel like
costs.
2020 was just parabolic.
That's where it seems like things kind of really took off on the cost wise. And then, so all of your services, you're paying more for, and then, property taxes have gone up for the most part. There's, some properties here and there that have kind of escaped the assessor's eye, but
Man, it feels
most of them,
less and less these days. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Because
very rare.
property taxes are basically going to be 50% to 75% of your triple net overall expenses.
Yeah.
And almost across the board, no matter what city, municipality you're in, you're seeing skyrocketing property taxes. Salt Lake City, obviously a great example. I mean, I don't know what the average increase is, but just on a number of properties that we manage or own or whatever, work on, you're seeing since COVID, things go from $3.50 to $7 to $8. Just
Yeah.
in that short window of time, expenses are doubling, tripling. And a lot of that is property tax.
Yep. And then, I mean, don't forget insurance too, right?
Oh, yeah,
Property
insurance,
insurance has gone up immensely. I mean, just with all of the kind of natural disasters that have happened, the wildfires, and different things that have affected kind of different parts of the U.S., property insurance has gone through the roof
Yeah,
too.
that's such a good point. I mean, property insurance was almost like an afterthought 10, 15 years ago. It's like, oh, yeah, got to get property insurance. It's like 10 cents of the $5 a square foot.
Yeah.
It was an inconsequential amount.
Yeah.
But now it's increasing
50
exponentially.
cents, 60 cents, 70 cents. Yeah.
That's interesting. didn't even think about that. Where does that go? Do you just see it continuing to rise, or do you think there's at some point there has to be a pushback because you're passing a lot of those costs onto the actual tenant?
Yeah.
So when we're saying triple nets and $10 a square foot, it's not the landlord paying that in most cases.
Yeah.
It's the tenant paying that.
Yeah.
And at some point, the tenant says, yeah, I can't pay $15 a square foot and give you $30 a square foot in rent. So
Right.
something's got to give, and property taxes aren't going down.
Yeah.
And I can't go to the city and say, hey, I'm just going to pay half. So
Yeah.
like, where do you see that? Where do you see that breaking?
Yeah. I mean, I think at a certain point, I think, if you look at like markets like Denver, Denver, I think is kind of maybe 20 years ahead of Salt Lake in a way. And I'm not super familiar with the market, but I know that it's not uncommon over there for triple nets to be $12 a foot, $15 a foot, maybe even closing in on $20 a foot. So I think it's just that resetting of expectations for the marketplace that, hey, it's not 2012 anymore. Like, this is the new reality. These are the new costs, and tenants kind of have to adjust for that. Landlords have to adjust for that. I mean, it's tough out there. It's tough being a tenant out there. I just was going through the drive-through of a local spot the other day, and they've now, instead of increasing their prices, they've just are passing along the credit card surcharge.
Oh, interesting.
To the consumer. And so if you use a credit card, you're paying an extra 2.5% or whatever to cover their costs.
So Taco Bell's $5 still, but it costs $7 to process my credit card.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, it's people are going to find a way to make it work because that's who we are as humans. We figure it out. But I think it's the new reality.
Awesome. Jesse Smith, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. I've seen your phone ringing 17 times while I've been here. So I'm sure there's 18 properties you have to run to, but really appreciate your time. Really appreciate what you're doing. You're on a rocket ship. Anybody who's looking at doing a property management switch or considering it, Jesse Smith is your guy. He is the best in the business. He is incredible. Hit him up with a phone call or an email or however you get a hold of him. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Chad. Appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, guys.
Nice.
We did it.
Nice.
How long did we